There we go. How's it going?
Really great. How about you?
Doing well.
Good.
Doing well. Nice to meet you.
Same. I'm Keith.
I'm Greg.
And
Greg.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you both. I love the camo.
Thank you.
I can barely see you though.
I know, right?
You blended in. Too funny. You guys are in Kenilworth?
Yeah.
Sweet. How long have you lived there?
A month.
6 weeks.
Nice. Where'd you
Yeah.
guys move from?
Piscataway.
Okay. Did you go to Rutgers?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What about you? Where are you from?
Well, I live in Woodbridge.
Okay.
You can see I'm in my home office. Sometimes at night I take my appointments here.
Yeah.
My office is in Somerset, like next door to where you grew up. So
Okay.
that's pretty neat. How about you, Brittany? Where are you from?
I grew up in Westfield. Humboldt.
Ah,
Yes.
right down the road. We're
Yeah,
all local
exactly.
people.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about, mortgage protection, what you guys know, what you're looking for. I have, hold on one second.
Sure.
Let's bring it up. Zoom, there you go. You guys talked to my cousin Christy today, right?
Yes.
So I got this. Who filled this out?
I did.
Okay, terrific. So talk to me a little bit about, what you're looking for. What was your concern when you fill this out, that sort of thing? What's your goal?
Yeah. I really wanted to just learn more about it, right? So when thinking about, having such a decent sized mortgage, it does, concern me, especially when I have, our incomes, it has a big disparity between us. So obviously, God forbid something happened to me, it would be really difficult for Brittany or for us in general, obviously to be able to pay off that mortgage. So that's why I just want to kind of see what it really, what the options there were, what the main differences are there, I guess, between that and like a life insurance policy. Obviously, we're on the younger side, so I'm not sure what the pros and cons would be there, but I did just want to, see more of what the options would be, what the costs would be, and what that would look like, and whether that would make sense for us or not.
Yeah, totally. And a lot to unpack there. Thank you for sharing that. Why is it important to get some coverage in place, do you think?
I just think it better safe than sorry, right? That's what, you could answer that question for any type of insurance. And I think, you don't get insurance for what's happening right now. You get insurance for more of like worst case scenarios. So, that's kind of where we were thinking with it.
Right. And again, man, I feel like I should take you on all my appointments. Yeah. God forbid you passed away tomorrow, right? I think I heard you just say this, Brittany couldn't afford to stay in the home.
Correct.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about your first question of what it is, right? And what are the main differences? So in 0809, the housing market, I've been doing this for 5 years, right? And the reason I do this is because my brother passed away at 41, middle of the day. And here, I'll show you. Did Christy send you all this, by the way?
She did not.
Okay, so there's my business card.
Actually, I think she did. I just got a bunch of text messages and emails about it. So
Yeah, please
yeah.
forgive us for all the obnoxious reminders. We know people get busy. I float between New Jersey and California. I spend more time here now because I take care of my parents, but there's my license for the state. I'm licensed all over the country. Yeah, so my brother in 2016, middle of the day, 41 years old, this guy in the middle, kidney failed after he'd been hit by a drunk driver.
Oh my God.
Yeah, many years before. And in the interim, my mom mortgaged the family home. They live in Old Bridge.
Okay.
And so he was paying the mortgage back, right, to pay back for all the medical bills. And when he died, we thought we were going to lose the house, and his life insurance came in and saved the house, right? So just to give you a little historical perspective on why that's relative is in 0809, when the housing market crashed, you guys might not have known this because you didn't own a house then. I'm assuming, but
No, we didn't.
the government said that, see, banks used to sell mortgage protection insurance as part of the mortgage package. And the government said you can't do that anymore because they were charging the homeowner and naming themselves the beneficiary. So banks can't do this anymore, right? So at that time, all these third-party advocates sprouted up to be able to help you with your mortgage protection need. Hence all the letters. You probably got a bunch of these,
Yeah.
right? With all this info.
Mhm.
So ultimately, what that means is it's a privately constructed life insurance policy with an add-on rider that life insurance does not come with. So life insurance companies are the holders of this policy.
Okay.
But now, in an effort to insure people's mortgage, they do two things. One, they do a non-medical, potentially approved in the appointment kind of policy. And two, they add on a rider called living benefits. So let me, if you don't mind, jump back in.
Sure.
I have some visual information. By the way, when I've been doing, like I said, 5 years. So when this happened, I was working at Montclair State. Then I moved out to California, taking a new job, left my job, started this agency in his honor. 2 years later, my other brother, this guy, his wife died, 40 years old.
Wow.
Rare infection, middle of the day. And I share this because I've been through this twice. I've had 2 siblings pass away. So God forbid, Greg, something did happen to you. Brittany just picks up the phone and calls Keith. I know everything to do. You don't have to deal with insurance companies. Like, I help my clients through the process. So oops, I got to shrink this so you can see it. There you go. Ta-da. Okay, so old mortgage protection, right? I started to describe that you would pay a premium to the bank, and if you passed away, your mortgage was paid off.
Mhm.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
Old life insurance, which I hear you may have some of, and I call it old because it's a different type. You pay a premium to the carrier and you pass away and you get a death benefit. It's
Right.
that simple.
Right.
Today's mortgage protection is about protecting your most valuable asset, which you just outlined. It's your ability to earn income. So ultimately, right, if you pass away, Greg, the policy would pay out, and obviously Brittany would have money to cover the home. But let's just say you had a terminal illness and you had 12 months to live and you can't work anymore. You may or may not still have your protection at work. It may go past a year. Now what? Right? Or you have a heart attack, cancer, stroke at 32. That's not likely to happen. But have you ever known anyone at 32 or younger to have cancer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's becoming more common, right? So
Yeah.
God forbid that happens and you can't work. I mean, I have an agent on my team was walking his dog at 38 years old. Guy went down with a stroke, completely healthy. And 3 years later, he hasn't been able to eat right, sleep right, walk right, talk right. He still gets tremors in his face and has to have injections. It makes earning an income pretty tough.
Yeah.
But thank God he had what's called that critical illness rider, and that's where the benefit would pay out, right? And then there's chronic illness. I don't know if you guys travel to work, but certainly I've had clients who've been in accidents and they didn't die, but they couldn't do their work anymore, right? And they couldn't perform 2 of the 6 daily functions of a normal human being. Feed yourself, bathe yourself, clothe yourself, get out of bed, go to the bathroom, take your own medicine. So if you
Wow.
can't perform 2 of those 6, right, in a more than a 90-day situation, you could be declared permanently and totally disabled, and that's where the benefit would also pay out. So
Got it.
that's how mortgage protection differs from life insurance, in that the coverage is connected to your social number. It's not actually connected to the bank in any way.
Okay.
Why is that important? Because not everybody can afford a full mortgage payout, right? So whatever your mortgages and your ages and your health is, those 3 things determine how much coverage you can get in place based on what you can afford in a monthly premium.
Right.
So with that being said, even if you can't cover the whole thing, or you decide, there's more value in something that isn't the whole mortgage, at least no matter what, the beneficiary gets the whole amount, and the mortgage is not always going to be at the number it's at, right? It's going to go down over time.
Yeah.
And we hope, A, that you never have to use this coverage unless you
Right.
get something that's permanent. And B, that when it does happen, whatever is left over goes to the beneficiary. Additionally, right, the beneficiary decides how to use it, not the bank. So what if the beneficiary doesn't even want to stay in that home, right? Like, Brittany, would you want to stay, let's say 10 years from now, God forbid, right? I pray it never happens for another 60 years. But let's say 10 years from now, something happens with Greg, right? And you're in the home and you guys have, gotten married, had some children. Do you still want to live in that house?
Right, it would definitely depend.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's where you could sell the home, not pay it off, collect the equity and move on to your next home and keep the lump sum. So the bank has no control over the money. So it can
Real
be
quick on that, sorry. So that, but it does go directly towards the mortgage. It can't be applied to anything outside of the mortgage though, correct?
no, the untrue. The
Okay.
beneficiary decides how it's used.
Got it. Okay. So I guess I imagine, like, say she had a ton of credit card debt or something, it couldn't be applied to that, right? I'm sure there's limitations of like where it can be applied to, no?
It is a tax-free life insurance benefit to the beneficiary.
Okay.
So let's say you, Greg, right, had cancer and you're out of work 2 years and your Family Medical Leave Act expires and your company says, hey, we got to replace you. I mean, I'm sure you love where you work and the people you work with and all that good stuff, but God forbid.
Yeah, I hear you.
Then, I have an agent whose sister, same thing, 2 years later, lost her work thing, 2.5 years later, died, and the family had no coverage. But my point is, you would then access the cancer benefit, right? Now, your primary concern might not be paying the mortgage off.
Right.
Or
Right.
primary concern might be, I don't know, traveling to Norway for some experimental treatment.
Right.
You can do that. The beneficiary decides how to use the money.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah. So
So there's a
have
lot more flexibility than I thought there would be.
total control. And that's
Thank you.
why it's important to know that we can custom create any kind of policy that makes the most sense to you, right? We can stack multiple policies if we need to get more coverage. We can put less coverage in place. It really comes down to a couple of things that you guys will decide. Now, it can be, like I said, accessed without death. We just talked about that.
Yeah.
And so just to go back to that point, God forbid something happened, right? No matter what it is on the list, is the bank going to call you and be like, Greg and Brittany, we need the whole house paid off right away?
No, of course not.
As long as you're giving them the monthly payment, they don't care.
Yeah. Right.
Right. So you can maintain that monthly payment no matter what. So really my job here, right, is not to sell you on any of them. My job is really to do a medical evaluation, right? We're going to go over some of the things you talked about with Christy. I'm going to do a quick 30,000 foot overview of a financial analysis, because sometimes
Sure.
you really need less coverage than you think. And then I'm going to recommend options. Your job will be to pick the one that makes the most sense, you feel good about, you can afford, all your questions are asked. And then I'm going to help you fill out the application right here so that we'll see if you qualify.
What
Does
if
that make
we
sense?
do need to think about it more though? Like, what if we wanted to take a couple days to think about it? Would we have to set up
That's
another
totally
meeting? or-
acceptable. The key there, right, is, and I've been doing this long enough to know that when people do need to think about it, right, they need to talk about it, pray about it, talk about it. And it costs too much.
Right.
So can we agree, right? We already have determined that if something happened to you tomorrow, she'd be up Schitt's Creek.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my goal is for you to pick something you feel good about. I don't care how little it is, right? Some insurance is better than no insurance. So if we can put something in place or at least apply to see if you qualify, right? And then you decide you want to tweak it up, you want to tweak it down, you have plenty of time to do that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Sound good?
Yep. Sounds good.
If you have any concerns about it, tell me, right?
Yeah.
Usually there's three things I want you to be comfortable with before you apply. Number one, the cost.
Right.
Most important thing, can you afford it every month? Goes right over your head.
Yeah.
Number two, the carrier and their benefits. Does it make sense? I only work with A-rated carriers. You've heard of most of them. Mutual of Omaha. You ever heard of them?
Yeah.
Transamerica, America, which is the largest privately held insurance carrier in the United States, so on and so forth. There's a whole bunch of them, right? Number three is Keith. Are you comfortable with me? Right? Do you feel good about what options I'm giving you? Do you trust that I'm going to show up for your family when this happens? Those are all important. There's a number four that I don't get too deep into today. I do this like once or twice a month, meaning like 1 weekend or 2 weekends a month, because I'm usually traveling the country, training people on how to pay off their mortgage early using life insurance. Right? I could totally expose you to that on another day, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Cool. Let's start with you. Forgive me, Greg. I'm just going to bring up my notes here. Okay, 424.90.
Yep.
That makes you 32.
Yep.
I'm so jealous. I'll be 50 in 2 weeks.
No way. Wow.
Seriously? Wow.
I would not have guessed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
1972.
Wow.
Wow.
All those years working in college, they made me young at heart.
There you go.
And so, yeah, I identify with 6-year-olds. That's the
There you go. That's all that matters, right? How you feel on the inside.
exactly. Tobacco. Do you use tobacco in any form?
I do not.
Have you ever had a heart attack, cancer, or stroke?
I have not.
What meds are you currently on?
Nothing.
No meds at all that you're currently on.
Nope.
Okay, what have you been prescribed in, say, the last 3 to 5 years? that you-
I have like seasonal asthma, so I have like I've had like some allergy pills and like prevented
Inhaler?
yeah, exactly. Rescue inhaler. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Was it albuterol?
Yep, exactly.
Can you tell I've done this once or twice? Any other meds you can think of?
No, that's it.
Okay. Have you ever been in the hospital for anything?
No,
Do we have kids yet?
we do not.
Are we planning to?
We're still up in the air.
Should
Yeah,
should I have asked you that in front of Brittany? I apologize.
No, it's fine. It's
No,
fine.
we've.
We're focusing on planning a wedding now next. So yeah, we'll see.
You work on recruiter software?
I hire software engineers, so I'm a technical recruiter.
I could learn some things from you. Okay, so you said your main concern was if passed away or permanently or totally disabled. Brittany could not afford, these are just for my notes.
Sure. Yep. Yeah, that's spot on.
Perfect. Did I miss anything?
No,
Okay.
that covers it.
Brittany, you're October 17, 1989.
Yes.
Perfect. That makes you 33.
32.
Oh,
It's only June, so a couple more months.
aha, that's why. Okay. Tobacco in any form?
No.
Heart attack, cancer, stroke?
Nope.
Currently on any meds?
No.
Have you been on anything prescribed by a doctor in, say, the last 3 to 5 years?
No. No.
Okay.
Nothing. Just like birth control, if that counts.
Nope.
Okay, then nothing.
I mean, it counts, but
Right, right, but not for this. Perfect.
any hospital surgeries?
I did in 2020 have carpal tunnel surgery.
And has your tennis career resumed?
Yes, my hairstyling career is thriving.
I rope protection for a hairstylist last year. Was able to do like a retirement, pay down her family business debt type of deal. She owns the salon. It's on Route 10. Gosh, I forget the name of the place. But what was really interesting was the amount of work, that goes into being a successful hairstylist that people
Yeah.
don't realize.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And she really hated me for the fact that I shaved my own head at home for like the last 15 years. And I like showed her, I'm like, okay, Lucy, how's my line? She's like, it's terrible. I'm like, yeah, I'm shave at the top of my head. She was so upset.
That's
That's great.
funny.
Okay, kids, not yet.
Yeah.
Hairstylist. Any goals of owning your own place?
Not yet.
You must love talking to the people though.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. It's
That's
great.
like the best part of the job, right?
Yeah, yeah, I hear it all.
Any concerns for you?
No, just really just being able to afford the mortgage payment if, anything, God forbid, happened to Greg.
So are we looking for coverage on Brittany as well?
So I guess so meaning if something happened to Brittany, then I would get paid out.
Yeah, we always do a one body, one policy. So
Okay.
no complication if God forbid something happened. So I'll just assume that we're going to primarily want to look at covering you, Greg, and putting that in place so that Brittany doesn't have to worry. And then if there's an opportunity, like there's plenty of opportunities for both of you, right?
Yeah.
Being that you're young and you're healthy. It's just a matter of figuring out what is the best plan.
Yep.
Right? Like, I just want to be transparent with you now. I never suggest the cheapest.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll tell you why. Like, what's your favorite food?
Chicken parm.
Chicken parm. Okay. You got a favorite place in Piscataway you order chicken parm?
I don't even, not in Piscataway.
No,
Okay, where is it?
Westfield.
Yeah, place in Westfield, Deep Arena.
Di Farino?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you get chicken parm in a box from ShopRite?
Because it's not the same, obviously.
Right. So you're willing to pay for value.
Yeah, of course.
That's my point. There's like
Yeah,
a million
makes
life
sense.
insurance companies and a million riders and a million different options. And the one is the best one is the one you understand the most, you feel comfortable with, and they're definitely going to pay out. God forbid something happens. Okay, the total on the mortgage I have on my notes here is 516,000.
Yep.
Okay. If you sold the house today, how much could you get for it?
I would hope what we paid, like 630.
Okay. So we're protecting about 114,000 of equity.
Yep.
What's the term?
30 years.
What's the interest rate?
4.3.
That's actually not terrible in today's market.
No, not at all. I went up literally. I got a quote on a Friday, and it was 3.8, and then by Monday it was 4.375. So I locked it in that Monday, and now it's almost touching 6. So
Yep.
definitely could be worse.
There's definitely opportunities for you to turn that around. You're not going to be stuck with that forever.
Yeah.
Okay, the monthly payment I have is $25.79.
Yep.
Are you planning to overpay it?
We were probably going to pay one extra per year, just towards the interest and principal. But yeah, 13 payments per year.
Yep.
The problem is we haven't been in the house super long yet, so we don't have like the water and gas bills yet.
Defined budget is not there yet.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's partially why I was thinking, like, because I don't really know exactly what our overall expenses are going to be. So maybe that's why I feel like we might be a couple weeks early on this, and that would be like I would have a much clearer picture in like a month from now, and that's why I initially asked we always, we had
You
to.
wouldn't be the first, I mean, again, I've been doing this 5 years, so you wouldn't be the first person to be concerned about putting some coverage in place that you couldn't afford or you didn't know your budget, right? So the idea is, let's walk the process. I'm not the one to tell you, you must do it today.
For sure, for sure.
I'm the one to tell you, she's gonna call me and drop some F-bombs on me if something happens to you while
Yeah.
you're thinking about it,
For sure, for sure. Of
right? Because
course.
that's gonna devastate her life.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So that's why I'm like, hey, take a look, see if you can settle it internally, look at something and go, okay, honey, you feel good about this, I feel good about this. Let's at least get approved and then take the time, tweak it up, tweak it down. Bro, again, I can show you through insurance how to pay off that mortgage in 10 years or less. Then what would you think, Brittany, if the mortgage was gone 10 years from now?
I mean, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
And have the insurance the entire time.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh, and have I'll get off on a tangent and have a tax-free retirement and build a business. Anyways, I own another company called Debt and Tax Pro, where we help businesses and we help people take money away from the banks and the government. We call it beat them both and put that back in your pocket. All right, so we're not sure the total. What's the card debt total right now? Do we have card debt?
Yeah, just me, 377 a month.
Okay. And do you know how much that total cars amount that you owe?
I have
Ballpark?
one more year left of payments, so that times 12.
Okay, so I'm just gonna round it up to 4,800.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good guess. Yeah.
Any guess on the interest rate?
It was definitely low.
3% sounds.
Yeah, but yeah, my guess would have been 2. So yes, it was, I know it was low.
Okay. Credit cards. You mentioned credit cards, Greg.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, we try to pay that off every month. But on a monthly, that could be anywhere from, I mean, again, we're kind of furnishing a home still. So on the higher end, I would say 1,000 to 1,500 a month that we've been kind of averaging, maybe a little bit more, honestly.
But if you're paying it off every month, it's not like a standing bill.
Correct.
Right.
It's not
Yeah,
like
we're not paying any interest on it.
you'll always have it.
Yeah.
It's a really smart financial strategy because hopefully your card has like rewards points,
Yeah, oh yeah, for
Mhm.
sure.
right? I put all my stuff on a United Chase card
That's exactly what I have.
for the business. My
Yeah,
parents fly back and forth to Florida and I'm able to buy them free flights. So
that's it. And I haven't flown anywhere since COVID, so I have so many miles on that card.
oh,
And then
dude,
we also have an Amazon card, which has definitely given some nice rewards.
up until recent, my parents' condo is in St. Pete Beach, St. Petersburg, right outside of
Yeah,
Tampa. I don't know if you're familiar. Up
I
until
am, yeah.
recently, one way was $80.
Wow.
I know, right?
Now it's
school loan.
800.
Yeah. School loans?
Yeah, I have about 6,000 left in total,
How much a month is that?
like 200. I have no idea what the interest rate
Yeah,
is.
like 3 to 6.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Okay. Any personal loans?
No.
Okay. After taxes on a monthly basis, what would you say your approximate income is? After taxes monthly. If you need me to do
excluding-
math,
So I get paid salary, bonuses, and then stock. So would I exclude the bonuses? Obviously, the equity is a little, or stocks is different. Should I exclude the bonus typically?
whatever you want to like say, here's my average, right? If you've been doing this a while, 2-3 years in the
Yeah.
bonus, be conservative if you want. I'm just looking to like sort of gauge where I need to make sure she's made whole.
Sure. So bi-weekly I get about 4,200. So about 8,400 a month from a salary. And then the last 2 years, my bonuses were anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000. So if you want to do low end 30, that's another 2,500 a month.
Okay.
So I would say around 10,000 would be, conservative for sure.
Recruiters for software engineers are doing well these days.
Yeah.
So, how about you, Brittany?
Monthly, it's about like 700 per week. So what's 7 times like 4?
28.
28. So like 2,800 a month.
That's awesome. Do we have any other income coming from anything else? Any other regular monies, investment properties, that kind of thing?
No.
Okay, so Greg is about 10, 9, 10, 9, 12, 9, 13, 7 for the month. Approximately. If you passed Greg tomorrow, how much could she go to the bank and grab in cash?
Not much after buying this house.
Figured.
17,000.
So it's replenish time, but you got a good amount. Okay. You said something about stocks and all that stuff. Do you have any retirement fund?
I do. I have a little over 100K in a 401K.
120 at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, definitely.
Not a lot of time to recoup, right?
Yeah, I know.
If you were 62 right now, we'd be nervous.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
How about you, Brittany? Do you have any, is that it, Greg? Any other retirement fund?
Now, for retirement, I mean, I do have like investment money and stocks. I don't know if that counts.
Yeah,
Probably have about another 100 grand in just stocks and bonds and things like that.
got it. Brittany, do you have a retirement?
I do not know.
Perfect. Okay, Greg, life insurance, what do we have?
So I just have what's paid through my employer. Let me see if I can pull it up. Basically, that is I
That's
think
what my notes say.
what's that?
My notes say 3 times your annual salary.
Exactly.
So the notes say about 630K.
Yeah. That's correct.
Okay. But that's from work, right?
Correct.
So if you change jobs or we're no longer employed there, then that would not still apply.
Correct.
Okay. Brittany, do you have any life insurance?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you have living benefits, Greg? I mean, I think I know the answer already, but that's if you had a heart attack, cancer, stroke, would a lump sum of money be paid out to you at all?
No.
Brittany, I'm just going to assume, is that right?
Correct. Yeah, no.
Okay. So there's a couple of things to know here, right? Just based on what I'm looking at. I want to say this just for me, Brittany. Okay, because I do this a lot and this happens a lot. There's no amount of value that can be placed on love. Does that make sense? So I get into these conversations with folks a lot of time and we see sort of a disparity like this, and this is only money. And that's what we're talking about here. It's only money, right?
Mhm.
This isn't about like this salary and that salary. But when you look at the overall picture, right, for right now, if nothing were to change for a while, right, you guys are comfortable, this is going to start to get paid down, you're going to refi on this guy in like 5 years or so when everything rebalances itself. So we're doing well. But if Greg passed away, you wouldn't be up Schitt's Creek just yet, right? We painted that picture at the beginning, but you would be the beneficiary of this, right? And I just experienced this. Oh, we got the fur baby, huh? I just experienced this. It's all good. It's all good.
Hey.
It's their house too.
Thanks.
All right, sorry about that.
All good. So you would be the beneficiary of this, in theory, Brittany, right? So
Yeah,
it would be, it's tax deferred, so about 20-25% would come off, whatever. I don't know the vesting point of this, but at least the challenge is right? A couple of things. Number one, this goes into probate, right? It takes time, the company takes time, so on and so forth. So this
Yep.
might not be accessible for, that is one of the cutest dogs I've ever seen.
Thank you.
That was not the dog I expected. When I, look at that yawn. So there would be time before this would be unlocked, and I don't know the vesting point of this, and this could cover a couple of months. So again, you're not.
That's actually, the stock is, everything there is vested.
Okay, terrific.
So I have more unvested. I don't know if that's relevant.
Yeah. And the
Okay.
point is just to look at the overall picture, right?
Right.
And whatever time it takes to get this, however, it would wipe this out.
Right. Right.
Right, so if we're talking like 10 years from now, there might be children, there might be college, there could be a lot of different things, right? You might own several properties, whatever it is. On the flip side, Greg, we know you'd be devastated, but it wouldn't be devastating financially. You might have to take off some time from work, get your head straight. That's what happened to me. After my brother passed, I just couldn't do what I was doing anymore.
I can, yeah, I totally get it.
So, what would be the current plan, Brittany, God forbid it happened to?
Are you asking her or?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm
The
just
current
curious.
plan,
Yeah, what's your plan? God forbid, right? We've
I
certainly seen
guess
enough
like
movies
sell
and-
the house.
Yeah, okay. So
Yeah,
about 100K of equity.
right.
Plus all the expenses of doing that, right?
Yeah, and then probably live with family for a little bit until I figure it out. That's probably, yeah.
Okay. Greg, what would be your plan if that work policy was no longer in place? Because that would be the concern for you.
That would be the concern for me. I mean, I wouldn't want to have a lap, have a gap of no policy in place. So my first course of action would be to find another policy right away if something were to happen to my job. So.
Okay. Well, let's see if I can whip up some options here real quickly that make sense to you guys that you feel comfortable putting in place. Hold on one second. Okay. Have you ever heard of Foresters Financial?
I have not.
Okay, so Foresters Financial is an A-rated carrier. They are over 100 years old. They're not for profit.
Okay.
So they have to give away all their profits. So what they do is, let's show some info, and I'm going to go into a second why I think they're the right fit over, say, Mutual of Omaha and Transamerica. So they're not for profit. So they offer all kinds of, they're a fraternal order. A fraternal order is like a fraternity. Right, so you become a member, and they offer all kinds of neat things, grants and scholarships, community grants, employee assistance stuff, events. I'm taking my dad to the Mets game in a couple of weeks.
Oh, nice.
There's cool things like that.
But that's how they get rid of their profits.
Yeah, if and when you have children, God forbid something happened to both of you at the same time, as a member of Foresters, they would each receive 900, am I highlighting the wrong thing here? Oh, that's scholarships, orphan benefit. There you go. 900 per month per child until they were 18 on top of the benefit. Right. So there's a number of things they're doing there. Now, here's the most important piece on why I believe they could be the right fit. And it's really the lack of living benefits. So let's pull that up. So their living benefits plan is the best in the business because they need to give all their money away. Right? So this is what I was talking about earlier. If you're diagnosed by a physician as being unable to perform at least 2 of the 6 daily living for at least 90 days or with severe cognitive impairment, right? So based on the face amount, right, with 20,000 being the minimum, you can get up to 95% up to 500K.
I have a quick question on that though. So that must be permanent. So what happens if you have something for 6 months, let's say? Like say you have a stroke and you actually are able to eventually rebound, but it takes at minimum 6 months. What is that?
Great
Is that-
question. So this was the chronic one, right? This is
Got it,
the
okay.
6
Permanent,
activities of
basically.
daily living. Remember,
Right,
feed
right,
yourself,
right.
bathe yourself, clothe yourself, get out of
Yeah.
bed, go to the bathroom, take your own medicine. You can't do 2.
I gotcha.
Then you have a legitimate claim for 90 days.
Correct.
This one, you don't see a time on it, right? Life-threatening cancer,
Yeah, right.
myocardial infarction, you have a heart attack, you have stroke. Nobody knows when you're going to get back. They're not sitting there with a clock watching 6 months of time.
Right.
You just have what is a stroke, and your doctor works up, you had a stroke. They can't predict the future. So
Right.
if you have end-stage renal failure, that's what my brother passed of. You have advanced Alzheimer's, a major organ failure, Lou Gehrig's disease. You can accelerate up to 95%. So
Okay.
most carriers have like the living benefits, but they all weigh like some are 25, some are small chunks. These guys just give you a big lump sum payout. Now, it doesn't mean that if you don't get all the 500K, depending on the claim and all that, that you won't, I mean, if we put 500K in place, whatever we put in place, right? It doesn't mean that you won't get the rest when you pass away. The policy is still valid. It just means it advances, it accelerates the death benefit because you haven't died yet.
Right, exactly. That makes sense.
Okay. Then there's that one I talked about, terminal, and that's 12 months. So these guys have the actual best living benefits policy in the
Right.
business.
Okay.
They also do some other stuff that, when you become members, you can start to use insurance to park money on the side, right? So that if you're out for 6 months, you can grab money and not even have to make a claim. You just grab money. Okay, cool. So let's do this. Oops. I don't make the prices, right? This is their quoting site.
Right.
I want to go back to. So these are the different products, right? You got stuff for like older people, young people. This is the non-medical term. So that's the one that they'll evaluate you as soon as you apply. In 5 to 7 business days, you find out an answer. So let's go to New Jersey. The most they do on this policy is 400,000.
Meaning per month.
No. That's
Oh.
the total payout.
Oh, 400,000. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was 400. My bad. Sorry about that.
Oh.
I was like, that's why I was confused.
No.
Okay. Gotcha.
400,000, right? So if you wanted to get to the 5 something, I could stack multiple policies, but we started 400K.
Yeah. Okay.
Monthly non-tobacco. Okay, so that means if you passed in an accident,
hmm
which is the more likely scenario till you're about 45,
Yeah.
it doubles.
Okay. To 800.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So these are where your plans land, right? So right now your term is 30 years,
Right.
and that's 134.14 a month.
Okay.
Does that make you comfortable or uncomfortable?
That's kind of in line with, I guess, what I was expecting, to be honest with you.
Okay. Is this the one we can apply for?
What do you think? I think it seems reasonable.
Yeah.
I guess, so I guess the only thing for me that I'm thinking of right now is like, I just saw one, right? I just saw one and I don't have anything to compare it to. I know that that's your job, but is there any like other, I guess, what would be pros and cons of others, right? Because obviously there's a lot of different companies, a lot of different policies. So what would make, I mean, I obviously trust that makes, I mean, it does make sense. A lot of the things that you said make sense, but I guess what could Mutual of Omaha offer that they don't? Is it like the actual, like, is it all going down to like, you focused on the living benefits for us and that's what made the most sense for you to choose this policy?
Mutual Omaha offers a pretty good living benefits package. They're a great carrier. I like the extras of Foresters, the not-for-profit, the way they're set up, all the good things, but that's a great question. I want to show you something. These are
I'm
all.
not biased towards them for any, I was just using them.
Oh,
as a-
no, that's fair. I like that you asked the question, right? Because you're transparent with me. I need time. I need to make sure. Most people want to make sure they're not spending more than they have to, but they're getting the right product.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
No problem. Two things. One, there's about 1,000 different life insurance policies.
Exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
going to guarantee that you can find 400,000 cheaper. Will it come with the same 95 package? Will it come with the same kind of treatment? Will it give you the same kind of options later on? The likelihood is no. I'm just going with what I know is best, what I believe is best for you guys. If it's 10% either way, $13 a month, how would that make you feel?
I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously 10% lower would be 10% better. But obviously like with the same coverage, right? And not having lesser coverage,
But
but
that's it. It wouldn't be the same. That's
Right.
that's the challenge. So here we are at Mutual of Omaha, because you brought it up. So this is their same type of deal, right? Now, let me show you why I came to Foresters first, because first of all, the most they'll give you is 300,000.
okay.
But if you felt better with 300,000, that's great. So we looked at a 30-year term, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. We did an accidental death, but their most is 250. Now, quite honestly, 300 plus 250 is what? 550. So it
Exactly.
covers the whole thing.
But that's only accidental, right? The other one accidental was 800 because, well, does that double or no?
No, this would be 3 plus 250. The other one was 400 doubled.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So a $250,000 difference.
So this one's 101.
Okay.
It's a little bit less coverage, right? 300 to 400.
Right.
And the living benefits don't pay out as well. But this is not a bad plan.
Right.
That's why I'm sort of like trying to present to you what are the different options and the different pricing levels and what I feel is best for you.
That makes sense. No, I mean, it's just good to see like a comparison, right? You know,
Let's go to one more. I'll just do one more so you can see it. So this is the largest privately held insurance company. They're not on the stock market. They do whatever the hell they want. Now, the reason this is 25 is because their living benefits is 25%,
okay.
not 95.
Right. Okay.
Now, why do I represent Americo? Because as the privately owned insurance carrier, their shit moves. They pay out fast.
Yeah, I bet they don't have that red tape.
So let's try to go apples to apples, right? 400,000, 30-year return. 118.75, not terrible.
But that's
Living
way less.
benefits are not,
Right.
and it doesn't double for an accident.
Okay. So I guess if we apply to that, that's not binding, right?
Whatever we apply for, they're likely going to approve you in the application. They want banking info because they want to know you're serious. They're spending money on their software, running your stuff and doing all that. So when you say binding, right?
Meaning like it begins right away once they accept it.
It absolutely does, because
Okay.
that's the goal. With that being said, the law says you have 14 days, right, of rescission. I won't apply if you're not ready. I don't want you to rescind. I want you to apply for the right one for you.
For sure. And that's the goal, right? Yeah, I mean, I think that it makes sense. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Too. Sorry.
You're comfortable with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're good with that. I mean, I think that what you showed us the very first one, I mean, it helps it look better when I see like the differences, obviously, you know what I mean? So no, thank you for that. That definitely does make me feel more comfortable. So I do think that one actually makes sense for us.
Yeah, the first.
The first one, yeah.
I appreciate that. And if tomorrow you wake up, right, and you're filled with like, oh shit, what did I do?
No,
Call me right away.
no, I hear you. I will. That's not going to happen.
It wouldn't be the first time and it won't be the last time.
Yeah. Yeah.
The idea is you have to have what's right for you.
Definitely. I think the challenge is that like I'm going into the call not having a great understanding of it. And by the end of it, I have to, give my bank information. So that's just like
Yep.
the speed of it drives a little hesitancy. But no, I feel a lot more comfortable now. So thank you.
Here's their own server. So that's where everything's going. I'm gonna keep this up the entire time.